I intend this session to be very interactive because it could be controversial, so hit me with questions as we go. Where does the concept start from? We are aiming at Schneider to develop and empower individuals to run buildings, modern buildings that we would consider to be sustainable, efficient, people-centric, maybe for the first time in some cases, and resilient. So how does that translate? Sustainability-wise, we are very, very aware of the footprint that our buildings have on the planet, and we can do something about it. So the idea is to empower you to have a positive impact and to control this environment. When it comes to efficiency, this is the one that drives me absolutely crazy, which is we know that 40% of workspace is underutilized, which means we pay for the lease, we pay for the building, we pay for heating and cooling that space that 40% of the cases are not well used. And even more dramatically, 20 to 40% of unscheduled maintenance is the driver. So where we send work orders to get something fixed where we could have potentially received information ahead of time.
Yes.
And the challenge that we face in regards to people is that post-pandemic, we've been trying to bring people back to the office. Many companies tried the carrot, many companies tried the stick, but at the end of the day, it's very simple. Create the right environment and we will run back to the office because we see the value. So how can we do this? How can we create this environment where it is pleasant to be back at the office, to be back in a corporate environment? And the resiliency is, and this is the second part that drives me crazy the most, is 82% of the asset failures occur randomly, but this asset was talking to us. This asset was communicating through sensors. We just didn't grab that information, or most of the cases is the information's available. It's just a huge pile of data and we cannot read through it. We don't know how to action. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is there, but it's a bit daunting because 68% of the data is not being used. And as I said, we have a huge bag. You look inside, you have data, but how do I make sense of it? Even more dramatically, we are in the next decade going to see 6 times more IoT, so sensors, feeding us with information. So imagine a world where we move from reactive to proactive. Imagine a world where we move from on-site, one building at a time, one campus at a time, to suddenly mobile and remote. Don't need to be on site. I can see what's going on. Imagine a world where we move from side by side to enterprise, having one single dashboard, one single view across my enterprise. Imagine a world where we can finally leverage from AI to say, the last time I saw this pump behaving this way, it failed. So give me that information so I can proactively take action, as opposed to, as many shared during the day today with me, saying our strategy for asset management is once it fails, we replace, which is so sad. So where do we go from here? The way Schneider sees it is combining a world that has been almost a dream forever to have IT, so the information technology, taking the information, the operational information, and to bring the two together. And forever, we've been living in isolation. So operational team lived in their OT, and information technology team live in their own environment. So here's the opportunity that we have today. You can suddenly imagine a world where you have an increased sustainability because we are adapting the workspace that we need. How do we know this? We can optimize a portfolio to say, you only have the buildings and the space and the floors that are required. And then suddenly, for the first time, I can really have an efficient operation, which means if there's no human in the building, there's no heating and cooling. If there's no heating and cooling, my asset's not running. If my asset's not running, it has a longer lifespan. And guess what? It's not consuming energy. We're doing better for the planet. And we start over again. So how do we do this? In order of time, I'll skip right through. So let's get to the point where we have the best of both worlds coming together. In green, your standard Schneider technology that you know, which is building management systems, sensors, information coming at us. And in blue, a platform called Plan-On. What does it do? It allows to continue to do what you've been doing forever, which is collecting data from my HVAC, from my lights, fire security, from renewables, microgrid, electric car chargers, power management, all that information that you have today. But imagine that you overlay this with smart operations. So suddenly we have this platform called Plan-On, where we measure and capture anything and we convert data to action. What does that mean? When you bring the two together, you have what we call a smart building or an intelligent building. So this is suddenly across all buildings, all campuses, all sites, all the information coming to the surface and allowing us for the first time to not only capture and normalize, monitor the asset as you have in the past, but also act on it, which is the missing glue in between. What's the missing glue? Once you have that information, how do you tell technical team, internal or external, to go perform a task? So we have, I'm monitoring, I'm assessing, I'm getting data coming at me, but it's not calling for action. This is where Schneider brings the yellow part. We have an efficient maintenance, which means if it's a critical asset, automatically I dispatch a work order, technician comes on site, fixed. Therefore, everybody's happy, comfort remains in the room, no one is disrupted. The same would exist with a world of, and we achieve this through analytics and AI. So we suddenly move to a preventative mode with automation and optimize with data. So the same exists with workspace. So the end user living in the building, we know where they are, how many of them, and then suddenly we start monitoring this, and we can say now, if and only if there are humans in the room, then let's bring this to the right level of temperature, right level of humidity, right level of comfort, lights, audiovisual, everything connected. We bring the glue in between, bringing the two worlds together. So operational with decision-making, call for action. And the same occurs then for, so again, we're proactive, we're automated, and we are now able to look across all environments because it's in the cloud. And the last one is, suddenly we're monitoring from all sustainability-wise, energy-wise, real estate. So am I tenant, am I owner of the asset? I have workplace and operation assets all coming at once. At the core center, I have business and analytics, business intelligence, and AI. What does that allow me to do? I suddenly start from a smart building and I apply smart operations. So what does that mean? It means that suddenly for the first time, I can aggregate any data, fire exits, fire systems, all my mechanical, all my HVAC, all elevators. Right now, it's going, from what I hear from customers, it's going into separate buckets. And what does it look like? And it might be the case in your world is, it is a very, very challenging world to have this huge bag of data. You look inside it, you don't know what makes sense, how to make sense of it. Suddenly, with an integrated world, we take all of this data and we bring it and we route it to the right persona, the right person, the right stakeholder to call for action based on data. So suddenly you have facility management having their data, you have workplace and workspace management getting the right data. So we stop working in isolation, and for the first time we start working as one. As I was saying, no humans, no heating, no cooling, no lights, no audiovisual, no consumption of energy, no unnecessary wear and tear of the asset. And then, of course, no consumption of energy, better for the planet.